Hello everyone, this is Patricia from Pinky's World, and today my tutorial is a shadow box Christmas card. I have gone with Misty Moonlight, and this one is actually Seaside Spray, but it's no longer available. I don't believe it's available anymore, but I love the colour. You could go with Balmy Blue, or you could just go with the exact same colour front and back. So you're going to need 3 pieces for the base, for the back and the front. They are both the same. You're going to need 2 pieces, either the same card colour or 2 different colours, and they need to be 6 inches by 7 6/8. So you're going to get them and score them on the long side at 1/2 inch and 1 inch each side, back and front. And then I've added a bit of embossing to the front of mine using the pine wood planks. And then you need to cut a circle. You choose whatever size circle you want. I'm not sure what size I used there, but I went fairly big just so that you'd be able to see inside it, so that there is actually 4.5 inches wide. Then you need to get another circle and a piece of card for the inner. It measures 5.5 by 5.5, and I just popped out a circle in the center, and this is going to go inside this to give that a nice sort of border. So I'm actually going to stick that on now, and we'll get that sorted. So you can trim it down. You don't have to have it, right there. If I put the glue on the right side, I bet you I haven't. I've been thinking. Keep your glue to the outer corners of your card. Don't mess it up. I forgot myself there. This is probably going to be too close, but fingers crossed. We'll glue it up or add it up some road to keep it nice. So you sort of want to center your circle inside that and just make sure it's not going to be hanging down, or try and get the same size of a border the whole way around if you can. That's okay. Just give it a good press if you're happy enough. And you can see that gives you a lovely wee border. Now inside you'll have this, but you need a piece of the Whisper White or sorry, not Whisper White, but Basic White you call it now. Same thing. I think it's actually a bit brighter. This is still Basic, or the other one, Whisper White, that I'm still using because I had bought loads of it. I really love this card for stamping on. And we're going to make a scene using Mountain Air. If you haven't got the stamp set yet, you should get it. It is great fun to play with. It looks like you're getting loads of stamps, but this is actually the back of this one. This is the back of this one. Same. All you just flip your stamp. I'll show you when we're using it, but it is lovely. So we're going to be using that as to create our background, and this is going to go in front, and it'll be like you're looking through a shadow box card. So in order to keep yourself right, get your big circle that you cut originally. What did I do with mine? Here it is. And you want to set it in the center where this is going to be sitting. So just flatten your sides out. And just make sure that everything is where it's going to be, because you want to draw a wee light circle with your pencil, just very, very light, nothing drastic. It's just to keep you, when you're doing your stamping, that you'll know you're going to be covering the whole area and not leave nothing out, like a big gap, So very, very lightly. That is going to be where your stamping is going to go over the edge, but you want to make sure that you're not, I'll show you my practice piece here. This is only in a wee scrap piece of card, but if you started your stamping, then you'd have loads of white at the bottom and too much white at the bottom and top. So you sort of want to know where to start your stamping, and that circle helps. So you can pop these other things out of your way for the time being, and we're going to concentrate on getting our stamping done. So I'm going to start with the mountains, if I can find them. These are the trees. So this is the mountain one. Oops. These actually stick. These new stamps, actually, when you get them, you pull them off this sheet and they stick to the pre-printed backing in your stamp set, which is brilliant. I have enough of habit of keeping this bit, and I shouldn't. I should just slide it in out of the road somewhere, but I only just opened this morning, so forgive me if I make any mistakes. There's a bumpy side where you can see the detail of the mountains, and the other side is completely flat, and that's the side you want to use now. I really need to order one of the long blocks for these kind of stamps. I haven't actually used this kind before, and I'm sort of afraid of making the wrong decision when I'm doing this. So have yourself a scrap piece of paper in the background, and we're going to ink it up. I want to use, actually I don't want to use that. I want to use, for the lighter side, I'm going to go with the Seaside Spray. So if you're going with Balmy Blue or whatever, that will be perfect. Just ink it up, and you can see it is really flat. And make sure if your desk is not good and firm, some of the stamping doesn't show up. You can see in my practice run, you get a wee area that isn't showing, isn't getting fully stamped. So if you're struggling with that, either use your stamping board or a foam mat underneath to help. I'm hoping I get it right this time. So first of all, ink that up, off stamp it on your scrap. You can see a few dots. I didn't even press there, and I want this up fairly far. I'm going to go there. Give it a good press and go into those places where you know it's not connecting so well on your desk. It's still a wee bit blotchy, but I'm leaving it. Now we want to clean this off. So give it a good wipe with your chamois and just take it off and flip it over. And this time we're going in with the darker colour, which would be Misty Moonlight, which matches the card. And it is really dark, but it gives a lovely colour. You know, gives it a bit of a lift. And that's a good thing about having those narrow blocks that fit your stamps perfectly. So now I want to, this has been flipped over, it's not going to match, as you can tell. So you want to make sure you're positioning this where you would really like it. We're not stamping off this time because we want that deep colour. So excuse my head if it gets in your road, but I want to see what I'm doing here. So I think that's okay. I'm pressing that inner bit. Seems to be a dip on mine. That's not so bad, yours not. And it gives them a lovely blue background and sort of snowy effect. So I'm going to wipe that off. I'm actually going to do another range of mountains. So I need to flip that back. And we'll go in with our light colour again. Stamp it off. And just move down. You can see it's building momentum. Just keep remembering to wipe off before you flip your stamp. And I would recommend you give your stamps a good wash after a play, because you're flipping them all the time. You want to make sure and get them nicely cleaned. So we're moving this one down, trying to line it up okay. That really gives a good mountainous background. I think we've had enough mountains now. We're going to move on to the trees. For the trees, I didn't want to go green. I wanted to keep it all icy still. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go in with the same colour. And again, we're going in with a flat side first. I'm going to put this in a wee bit sideways. It's actually bigger than the... I just want a frosty feel to this card. Again, stamp it off. And then go in. Just go along. You can see it gives it a nice background for your deeper stamp. Now I'm going to go in with the same colour again. Would you believe I'm not stamping it off, but I'm using the same Seaside Spray colour. Not exactly green, but the trees are icy and snowy. So I'm hoping it looks the part. Now you can see that in the background, it's not too bad at all. Scene's building up brightly, and now I want to bring this wee part of the stamp more inked and not bother with the trees this time. I'm just bringing that icy snowy part down, so I'm cleaning that away. My hands are mank, so I want to put a wee bit of masking off here. Might be easier to actually mask it off on the thing, mightn't it? That's just what I'll do. I'll mask it off here. Check this out. So I just want to add this lower part. I can afford to bring that down another wee bit. Ink it up. You could go in and lift part of the ink off if you want, so that it hasn't got any rough edges. And we want this down. Doesn't matter if it's even snowy or... I don't mind that. I knew that was going to happen. I really don't mind it, so I'm going to continue on adding more of it. Put it at a wee angle this time. You could go back in without re-inking and just add lighter colour to it to fill that in. I just want to bring that the whole way down, if that makes sense. It makes sense in my head. It probably looks like crap to use. Not to worry, you can do an entirely different card whenever you're making yours. I just want to bring this right down to where it'll be hidden under the... Go back in again. That's nice. I don't mind it at all. It's not annoying me in the slightest. It's kind of what I'm going for. A wee bit hard to do with this particular stamp, but I didn't want to do any more trees. Now, let's see what that looks like behind the card and see if I need to go any further. Do remember to rub out your lines. No, that's covering it really nice. But, what is the gaps like? I'm going to rub out my lines now. See how we're coming on. I'm going to stamp a couple of trees. don't want to be seeing any of that if you can help it. That's why it's important to do it really late. Now you could go in with a tiny bit of the lighter ink. A wee squirt of water. Where did I put my water? Here. Just a wee squirt. And then get your wink of Stella. Mine is an old one. This is not my good one with the sparkle, but it does give you a wee bit of sparkle. And remember, this is not, what do you call it? It's not watercolour card, so be careful. Don't soak it. Anywhere that you're not happy, that you want to add a bit of colour, just go in like that. You can bring that in either side and sort of leave a pathway if you want it. Now at the bottom we haven't got much going on there, so I'm just going to give it a nicey feel. I'm sure you could do a far better job than me. I'm really rushing here because I know this video is going to go on far too long for you. So roughly bring it out anywhere you haven't, a wee bit of ink there, anywhere you haven't went right out to the edges and you feel you're going to see it around your gap. Of course you could always, if you're not into making backgrounds, use the card style to put designer series paper at the back and then fill it out with whatever, your Christmas trees or a nativity scene. So I think that's as far as I'm going to go with that. You'll find in this wee stamp set there's clouds and there's a moon. I think it's a moon or else a sun. You can use it either way. You can see I've stamped out here so I could show you it. These are the wee clouds. There's also wee birds. So they're great stamp sets, they really are. I'm going to close this one up. I'm going to use the light colour again. And we'll try the wee clouds just to show you them working. And again, I advise you to stamp them off if you think they're too dark and you'd prefer to go in with the lighter colour, like they're really disappearing into the sky. You could do that. So that's what I'm going to do. It's less intrusive. I don't think I'm going to go with any more. I think that'll do it. So we'll try the wee bird, which I had out on a stump somewhere. There we are. And I want to do black for the birds. So I'm just using Memento. You could afford to put a few more wee birds. That'll do. And that is our scene finished. Now, at this stage, you could add trees all around the front, which I'm going to do in green. Put these wee stamps back on, I'll just read it out in the nice wee ones. So the trees are from the same set. There's a double one and a single one somewhere. Oh, there you are. A single one. So the colour I've decided to go for here is, where are you? The lovely Evening Evergreen, which is one of the in colours. Oh. And it is really dark, but it comes up later. Bear that in mind. So put your circle down so you know kind of that is going to be. So I want to go in here. Now you can flip these over as well, but I actually prefer to see like a wee bit of greenery rather than just flat shadows. So do that, just go second in without inking up. What do I do with my ink pad? So I'm going to do the same at this side. And then a wee bit smaller. Now keep checking with your circle and see how you feel about that. I'm actually going to bring those up now. We'll try a double one this time, just to show you it working. And again, raise it up higher. Don't be afraid of floating trees. And you can see that's beginning to pick up your scene nicely. So we'll do this at the other side. I've raised it up a wee tiny bit. And then we're going in across and raising it again. I think it's really nice. It's just me, like, but I'm easily pleased. I love playing around with this kind of stamping. This is just my favourite way to go. I'm going to bring this one down at the front and the shadow down. We'll do the same at the other side. Down a wee bit, down a wee bit. We'll have one in the centre, one to the side. And I'm going to have to ink that up again. So I still feel that I want some, maybe just the wee tips and no more. So just enjoy playing there. And because our card is right out to the end, I'm going to bring it out. Even though you'll probably not see that as much, but I don't want to leave it if somebody looks inside and thinks, what's going on here? Now that is looking good. I'm really pleased with it. It's like you're looking through a forest out to this icy area. So I think I'm finished with stamping, so I'm going to get all these out of the way so we can move on to the construction part of the card. Get our scraps out of the way. So oops. This is the back, and this is where this is going to be stuck. So you can just go ahead and add your glue. Ugh, need debunged. There it is. I'm using this collal glue simply so that I can maneuver my piece about a wee bit easier in case I don't get it right where I want it. Excuse me. So that is the basis of these two are going to be glued together. And at this stage you can add a few wee stamped trees that are raised up. Attach them to the back of this card if you want, or raise them up simply on that to give that more appeal, if you know what I mean. But that's entirely up to you. You could put one at either side. See what that looks like. Just gives it a wee bit of 3D look. So where's my lines? We'll add it in and see what happens. Just cutting these up skinny so they'll fit better. they will sort of sit. Again, always go back to your thing and see where you're happy for them to go. Not even bothering with the top part. My hands are desperate. And that will go, gives it a wee bit more 3D. You could also add whatever you want around the inside so that it pulls it all together like a big star for Christmas or whatever. These are things you can add later. Now, I want to join this half to this half, so I'm going to use, you could use this glue or you could use your sticky tape, but make sure it's good and strong. These two sides join together completely flat. Just make sure you have plenty up at the corners. Just scoot them together as quick as you can. Just making sure they're nice and perfect. And that gives you your shape. You can do the other side now. These two will go together. So we're actually going to put it on this one. Probably a bit less mess if you used your tape, but I always be afraid of getting it stuck in the wrong place and not being able to get it up again. Just make sure it's all standing nicely. You can see the nice effect it's giving you. So we're quickly going to move on to the decoration at the front, and I have stamped this lovely reindeer, or deer I suppose you'd call them, from Nature's Beauty. There's some lovely ones, you could use any of those in there at all, and this would be nice coming out behind all that if you wanted to add more, but this is all I'm adding at the minute. So he's just been stamped in Memento brown ink, and I've coloured him in then with crumb cake, and there's a bit of sticker hanging over. Would I want that? Take that off. Just make sure it's not sticking in there so it doesn't go in behind your card. You can add another wee bit to his ear at a later date. So now we're going to make sure everything's folding flat, because it's to go flat into your envelope. So those scores allow you to do that. What else have I add? You could add a couple more trees if you wanted. I did have the double one here cut out so that I could raise up and add. But the main thing I wanted to add was the sentiment, and there it is. I stamped this one out, warm wishes from our home to yours. I punched it out with the lovely oval punches, the biggest one I've used, and the stamp is from Poinsettia Petals. There's lovely sentiments in that one, and we're just going to pop it here. And I wondered about adding some gold. I actually have, I'm in a mess here, really and truly in a mess. I have Seaside Spray in this kind of ribbon. I kind of like it. Must have took that off something. Now this unfortunately is not available, but there is loads there if I can find this one. There's actually a little bit of that, but that's not going to show up. So I'm going to put you on pause to find this ribbon. So I've had a play around with my ribbon, and I've used the one that matches the Seaside Spray. It's obviously not available, but you could go all golds instead. This is a lovely gold ribbon which would look just as lovely for Christmas, wouldn't it? So I've also punched out a wee star out of the gold, and I just think that looks really nice. I'm really pleased with it. At the back I'm going to put my sentiment here, just so it's a card that'll go across like this and then just sit up at Christmas time. So you could also put a wee tea light in behind it or something. There's not much space there, but you could try and do an oval shaped one if you wanted. So anyway, that is the basics of the Shadow Box card, and I just wanted to showcase a wee bit of that Mountain Air stamp set because it's just worth its weight in gold. I think you'd use that all year long for landscapes, for lovely cards, for lovely backgrounds, and having good fun with it, you know. So that is me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you all later. Bye.